Imagine a billionaire hands you $1 million in cash. You could buy a mansion, a car, or disappear and never work another day. Daniel was the first variable in this experiment. He was a homeless man in New York City with no assets and no family, sitting outside a hotel in a rain-soaked jacket. The second variable was Richard, a billionaire who spent his career making millions. He wanted to know if money reveals a person's character or if it creates it. Richard's hypothesis is illustrated here. He believed that capital acts as a magnifier. When the amount of money grows, it stretches the existing boundaries of a person's nature, making their true self much easier to see. Richard stepped out of his Rolls-Royce and placed the briefcase next to Daniel. He told him the money belonged to him now. There was a single condition. Daniel had 24 hours to decide what kind of person he was going to become. With the briefcase open, Daniel faced the tension between his comfort and his moral compass. For the first time, he could buy anything he wanted. Daniel's first choice happened almost instantly. He saw a mother and daughter nearby who hadn't eaten all day. This chart shows the typical path of a sudden windfall. Instead of moving the money toward personal assets, Daniel immediately allocated capital to buy food for the family. That single act triggered a cascade. Within hours, Daniel spent thousands of dollars buying meals for dozens of people he found sleeping on the streets and under bridges. Daniel noticed a shift in his own experience. As the capital moved away from him, his own sense of happiness increased, creating a circular feedback loop between giving and fulfillment. Later, a restaurant owner asked Daniel what he was going to buy for himself. Daniel told him he wasn't buying anything. He explained that he knows what it feels like to have nothing, and he doesn't want to forget that feeling. He held on to that memory to stay connected to the community he was now funding. Daniel eventually moved toward long-term structural investment. He used the remaining funds to rent an abandoned building, converting it into a formal shelter. He spent the money on the logistics of stability, investing in beds, consistent food supplies, clean clothing, and medical care. Then he made a different kind of investment. He began hiring the people living in the shelter to run the facility, providing them with real salaries and responsibilities. This graphic illustrates Daniel's strategy. Giving people what they need to survive handles the immediate crisis, but providing a job and a salary gives them a reason to participate in their own recovery. Daniel used the cash as seed funding for a self-sustaining operation. He turned the one-time gift into an engine that produced its own human capital. Richard returned weeks later. He expected to see a man who had been transformed by $1 million and the lifestyle that comes with it. Instead, he found Daniel in the same worn jacket he had on the night they met. He was busy sweeping the shelter floor. Richard asked what happened to the $1 million. Daniel pointed to the dozens of people around the room and told him the money was still there. It was in them. Daniel told the billionaire that he never needed $1 million to be rich. He needed $1 million to show that he was capable of being something more. Richard realized the roles in his experiment had reversed. He thought he was studying Daniel, but Daniel's actions provided a lesson for the billionaire. Richard was the one being tested. Richard canceled his business meetings to help Daniel scale the project. Together, they opened opportunity-based shelters across the country, providing thousands of people with jobs and housing. Daniel's formula for wealth was based on a simple observation. While money buys a better physical life, kindness gives that life its meaning. You don't need $1 million to change a trajectory. A hot meal, a kind word, or a second chance functions the same way Daniel's briefcase did. We can measure wealth by how much a person gives away. By that standard, Daniel became the richest person in every room he entered.